and gentlemen, it's the Stephanie Miller Show.
I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, it's time to feel good. Hey, all right now, it's time to feel good.
Yahoo! It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Happy Friday, everybody. 6 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEP-12. Stephanie Miller Show on Facebook. We have all the pictures up from Inauguration Week, I believe.
Yes, everything you sent me.
Right, just everything I had because I was...
Drunk.
Yes, most of the time. StephanieMiller.com, the website. You can email us all there. Executive producer Crystal Boy, voice deity Jim Ward, or me, Stephanie Miller. Guess who else was there?
Speaking of funny and smart, I want to bring on Tina Dupuy. Tina Dupuy is brilliant. She's funny. She's a terrific writer.
Tina does everything, and I just love her already.
Oh, hello. Good morning, Tina Dupuy.
Stephanie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? So great to see you in D.C. in Poison.
Yes, I'm still recovering.
Yes, me too. I can tell you're on the same 7 brain cell delay that I am.
Yeah, it's so much formal wear and so many lines to stand in.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
you and Carl went to the big inauguration ball, didn't
Right.
you? Inaugural ball?
We went to the big inaugural ball, and
Yeah.
then we went the following day. We went to the staff ball, so
Right.
it was like Obama kept on following us around, giving
Right.
Speeches all over the place. It
He's
was
very
horrible.
clingy. I know.
I know. I was like, the dude is stalking me. Please.
Yes. Yeah, and Carl Frisch tweeted about it. Even the gay boys brag about hitting on you, which is which is weird. But I see what all the boys go crazy about. You are just as delightful and lovely in person as you are on the radio.
Oh, I say the same thing about you, Stephanie.
Oh.
It's not to your face.
Oh, Tina. Now, so yeah, it was really an amazing week, wasn't it? We were saying I actually did do more in the last 5 days than I've done in the last 5 years. So I am not going to come out of my house again now for 5 years. But it's amazing, right? I don't even know. I don't know how you pack for anything back east if you live there. There's formal wear and I don't know. There's hats involved and gloves. It's really.
No, it's
distressing.
pretty daunting. You know, I had long johns and cocktail dresses, and someone was like, "Are you going to Seattle?"
Exactly.
It's a thing. But speaking of the weather, see, the last time I saw you, it was hours before Hurricane Sandy hit.
That's
and then
right.
you went back to the West Coast.
Yes.
And now we're having this cold streak because you left the East Coast.
That's right.
So-
That's right. I take all the warmth. All right.
Right.
Thank you, Tina Dupuy.
It gets horrible. It gets bleak. As
Did
soon
you-
as you leave
I
our
know.
coast, it gets
I know.
really, really bleak.
I apologize. Now, Tina, what about the president's speech, huh? That the inaugural speech, it made all the wrong people mad, right? Or, all the right people mad, excuse me.
Oh yeah, the right. I mean, I was very cold when I heard it, so I think it was fantastic.
Right.
I'm not quite sure, but the word Stonewall was really, really
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. And he talked about things that he's been reputed to be this communist socialist Kenyan.
Right.
It's about time he finally gives a speech that's somewhat liberal.
Yeah. I was thrilled with it, and a lot of people said what you just said. They're like, "Wow, I did not see Stonewall coming." I mean, despite the fact that it's the first American president that's ever said the word "gay" in an inaugural address. I mean, it was
right.
Yeah, and climate change.
Yeah, those were two big things, and as much as we give the president hell, and which we should keep him accountable for everything he does. He has not closed Guantanamo, hello, but there are things that they were trying for 60 years to get health care reform passed, and he finally did it.
Yep.
And while it is not perfect, it happened. Don't ask, don't tell is no longer there. The Little Let Better Act, like everything that we could go through and say that, and even in women in the military. I mean, this didn't get a lot of play, but women in the military serving overseas could not get access to an abortion if they were raped by their fellow soldiers.
Yeah.
This was a huge story that I have been talking to women who activists who will go into places like Chile and other places where abortion is criminalized, that they would get the majority of their phone calls were not only from American women, but from female soldiers serving overseas that did not have access to abortion, and that changed under this president.
Well, it's interesting because obviously this debate now about women in combat has come up, and we were sitting next to Nicole Boxer, Barbara Boxer's daughter. Yeah. Chris and I were lucky enough to get invited to Senator Boxer's private luncheon after the inauguration, and she has a film called The Invisible War, which we're going to have her on about it. It's an Academy Award nominated documentary, but I didn't even know it. 1/3 of military women have been sexually assaulted, roughly twice the civilian figure. If they want to look at gender problems in the Army, they might want to start there, right?
Right. And up until very recently, there was, basically you would, if you happen to get pregnant from one of these assaults, then you were basically assaulted twice.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, so we were saying that obviously Leon Panetta said, women they have to meet the same standards as men to go into these jobs. So it seems to me like you brought up Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We're hearing a lot of the same arguments, aren't we?
Pretty much. But there's a lot of men who don't meet the physical requirements to be a Marine.
Right.
And we talk about this all the time. We're a lot of people are too fat to fight. So it's women are going to have to be physically strong enough to be able to do that, but that doesn't mean that no women are going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm in much better shape than half the dudes at my gym. So let's do this, people.
Listen, I can attest to that. I saw you in a ball gown. Now, here's my favorite Wall Street Journal. Women shouldn't be in combat because men poop. So this is a new argument that I had not yet heard. An opinion piece. Did you see this?
No.
Yes. Women.
But the Wall Street Journal is always at the forefront of the ridiculous.
Right.
So,
right. It's an op-ed by former Marine infantryman Ryan Smith. He says women shouldn't serve in combat because social norms would make it humiliating for men. He argued that since soldiers had to, quote, defecate inches from his seated comrade's face during his tour in Iraq, women cannot be permitted in combat because it would humiliate men.
Are men really that squeamish?
He said it is humiliating. He writes, it is humiliating enough to relieve yourself in front of your male comrades. One can only imagine the humiliation of being forced to relieve yourself in front of the opposite sex. Despite the professionalism of Marines, it would be distracting and potentially traumatizing to be forced to be naked in front of the opposite sex, particularly when your body has been ravaged by lack of hygiene. Well, that'll mark the first time a man's been concerned about hygiene.
For the sensitivity of Marines.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm sorry, but is that necessary? Do you have to, in combat, do you have to poop right next to
Well, if you have dysentery and you're in a foxhole, you don't have many options. There's not a lot of privacy.
Wow.
Can we just use the phrase "soldier up"?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Come on, grow up there.
Listen, it's been a while since I've been with a man, but I don't remember one of them ever closing the bathroom door. So I don't remember one of them ever being shy about that. Oh, really, honey? Come on. Now,
very sage point.
Thank you. We combine the Mensa meeting with the fart jokes here. All right, Tina, you wrote as you tend to do, a fabulous column entitled "The Truth Is You're Still a Jerk, Lance," and you tied together just sort of lying in general, as you said. You quoted yourself. You said you joked during the Romney campaign that he was single-handedly trying to kill all the fact checkers from exhaustion. But
Indeed.
there is an interesting thread, right? In lies and the lying liars that tell them, as Al Franken would say.
Right. Well, we had this kind of suspended reality campaign, right, where Herman Cain was the front runner, and then Michelle Bachmann warned us about the Soviet Union, and Romney kind of had he would go. There was, I think it was the first debate where he said under his plan, pre-existing conditions would be covered, and that was he was actually lying about his own plan that they had to set the record straight later. It was just everyone kind of just really made stuff up out of whole cloth, and then it kind of the epitome of it was Karl Rove on Fox News going, no, it's too soon to call, when clearly the game was over and Obama won by a landslide, especially by Rovian standards, which it's a whole other thing. But so then you have Lance Armstrong, who is a schmuck on a very, very redeemable day. And he comes out and he's candid about, he didn't come out with and say everything, but he did admit to a lot of the things that he had been accused of for many, many years. And so, I said that should mean something, like, that should, honesty should be rewarded at some facet. However, we should maybe find a less repugnant personality to test that theory out on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's going to be in a whole world of hurt now. What did I say? What did I see yesterday? A new class action lawsuit from people that bought his book, because, of course, his book was based on a lie. It was all about the story of overcoming cancer and winning the Tour de France without any help from doping, right?
Right. It's now been moved to the fiction section of the bookstore. So I think that's good.
Yes, that's what. And Jim always helpfully moves Ann Coulter's books to the fiction section and then draws a little Hitler mustache.
That would be horror section. Come on.
Yes. Tina Dupuy, great stuff as always, and it was lovely and delightful to see you in person in D.C. Let's do it again soon.
Definitely. Thank you, Stephanie.
All right, there she goes, columnist Tina Dupuy.
And she's with thecontributor.com.
There you go. There you go.
And need I mention she's also smoking hot.
Yes.
Well, there's a picture of her. There's a picture of her up on your website.
Yeah,
Stephanie.
I think we've covered that.
Yeah.
Okay. So noted. Thank you, counselor. 17 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
She's your human Prozac. It's the Stephanie Miller Show.